So the first thing I call this meeting of the City of Alva Tourism Tax Board to order, and we're going to have discussion action on the minutes of the February 20th, 2019 meeting.
We approve the minutes from February 20th, 2019. A second.
Motion and a second. Approve the minutes.
Terry.
Aye.
Connor. Juanita. Norma.
Aye. All right, next, I'm going to let Jody talk about the financials ahead of time so we can, instead of talking about each one individually, she can talk about them generally as a whole, and then we'll go back and approve each one individually, which we have to do. So,
Okay, starting off, we have $651,240.12, $939 for the Advertising and Promotions Committee, $4,000 for the Alva Chamber of Commerce Northwest Oklahoma Visitor Center, $10,900 to the Nesatanga Arts Festival, $5,000 to the Heartland Best Robotics, $26,300 to the Big Cruise and Car Show, $3,900 to the Alva's Crazy Cool Boulevard Cruise, $2,910 to the 2019 Tourism Marketing, $500 for Future, $2,500 for Standing, which leaves us with $594,021.12.
so I had Joe Don check on a hotel that I wondered if it was paying, and it is. But using that, there's 8 hotels, and we have 7 substantial payments here. We're missing, we're going to have him check some more. Anyway, I was just bringing that to everybody's attention. Yeah. Okay, that said, does anybody else have any questions before the financial side? It looks way better than last year, that's all I can say. Already ahead of last year, and we have another quarter and part of this quarter that isn't showing on this financial report.
Yes, it's
Yeah. That's very, very good. So there's been a lot of people in Alva, which is great. I would take a motion to approve the February financial report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the February financial report.
second.
A motion and a second to approve February.
Juanita.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
Norma.
Aye. Any discussion on the March financial report? If not, I will take a motion to approve the March financial report.
Make a motion to approve the March financial report.
Second.
A motion and a second on the March financial report.
Connor.
Aye.
Juanita. Terry.
Aye.
Norma.
Aye. And last, no discussion on the April financial report. I would entertain a motion to approve the April financial report.
Maybe we approve the April financial report.
Second.
Motion second on the April financial report.
Juanita,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Norval.
Aye. Right. Next is discussion and action on the 23rd annual NWOSU football golf tournament not to exceed $5,000.
That's my cue. Right there. All right, I appreciate you guys letting me come before you and request tourism tax dollars again this year for Northwestern Oklahoma State's football auction and golf tournament. This is our 23rd annual, as you said, the 5th one that I've run there at the Alva Golf and Country Club. This year we're asking for $5,000 again to offset our ever-increasing cost to put on this tournament, which is about 22% of our total overhead costs to run the tournament. We have it scheduled in conjunction for the past, I think it's the past 4 years with the Nescatonga Arts Festival, so that our participants that come can bring their significant others or their families, so there's other things that they can participate in Alva. And right now we have about 32 of our maximum 36 teams already registered to play. And I fully expect us to have all 36 come May 31st when we have the actual auction. And out of those teams, about 60 to 70% are from out of town. You know, the former alumni and supporters, former players that played here, and they come from out of town and bring their families, and so they're going to need hotel rooms Friday and Saturday. And it's a great event that we have, and it's one of the 2 big events that every year former alumni come to from football, that and homecoming. That weekend and homecoming are the 2 weekends. We get a lot of people from out of state. We got people from Florida coming this year, people from California coming. Pretty excited about it. So thank you guys for your consideration. If you have any questions, I'll open up the floor to ask me any questions you might have.
So the profits that you make from the golf tournament, from the auction and stuff, tell us about what that does for the football program.
It helps subsidize our budget and allow us to, travel the way we travel, outfit our players the way we outfit them. It goes from everything from equipment to recruiting to video equipment to it basically just helps us balance our budget. That's the fundraising part that I'm charged with from the university. So it allows us to, again, continue to run the program the way it needs to be run.
So what number, and I'm just curious, what amount of funds do you get from all your fundraising activities approximately?
All of them? From this one, it's roughly $20,000 that goes straight into our foundation for me to use throughout the year. About $22,000 of the overhead costs is what it costs total for both the auction and the tournament. Most of the money we do gain, most of the cost is incurred in running the tournament. The auction doesn't cost much at all. But throughout the whole year, we probably raise, it just depends on the year, obviously, around $60,000, I think, has been our best year since I've been the head coach of raising money. Don't quote me on that, I have to look to be exact. But my goal is around $50,000 every year to raise.
I'm just curious, I didn't know
Sure.
if it was
And
50,000
a lot of it might be,
300,000.
a lot of it might be, there may be more years we need to fly in to recruit, and that costs money over and above what we normally might, because I don't like flying in recruits because it costs so much, and then you got to guarantee, you're not guaranteed they're going to get on the plane, and that has happened where we've lost money, and those, you can't do too many of those because those add up quick. So.
I will say we have people that stay with us every year for this and have since we've been in the motel. So I would move that we approve $5,000 for the tournament. It does what it says it does. It brings people to town a lot and their families.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Charles,
Yes.
Juanita,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Norval.
Aye. All right. Next is discussion and action on Northwest Oklahoma Junior Rodeo Association, not to exceed $6,000.
Hi, my name is Tyson Colton. I'm here on behalf of Northwest Oklahoma Junior Rodeo Association. NWOJR is a not-for-profit corporation with the purpose to promote and provide standardized rodeo events for young people across Northwest Oklahoma and surrounding areas. Contestants range from anywhere from 6 years and under through 19. We generally have over 100 contestants in 12 different events. Our rodeos are 2-day events with the majority staying for 3 nights. Our rodeo is being held at the NWSU Ranger practice facilities. We couldn't do it without the help of Coach Graves and the support of the Alva Tourism Committee. This will be our 3rd year for having it this year. Our organization really likes coming to Alva. We are seeking help for the stock charge of $6,000 to help with year-end prizes. That's one of our big costs at all of our rodeos. And we also put on Alva's logo on the front of our coats to help show our gratitude at no extra cost for you guys. That's typically what we do or have been doing the last 3 years. I think it looks nice being front and center on all of our coats.
So how many of these rodeos do you have?
We have 5 rodeos in the finals.
Where's the finals?
It's at Cherokee. We typically try to have it at Cherokee at the indoor arena, so it's kind of a controlled environment. Maybe one of these days we can have it at Alva.
So last year, did it rain during that deal?
Man, I don't think it did rain last year. Yes, it did rain during last year's rodeo. It did. It did. It did. The year before that it was hot, and last year it rained. So, yep, we just fight through it and keep on chugging.
So where do the spectators
Do what?
I didn't make it out there. Where do the spectators sit?
Typically at Alva, they bring lawn chairs and they're packed around there everywhere you can get. So I know that whole area was completely full of trucks and trailers. You couldn't hardly get another one in there last year. I know I had a lot of people say they couldn't believe they could get that many people out there. But they bring a lot of, those 100 contestants come with brothers and sisters and moms and dads, and a lot of people come to town.
Yeah, when you bring little kids, terrific.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the $6,000 for the Northwest Oklahoma Junior Rodeo Association.
Was there a motion? There's a second.
Second.
Terry,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles, Norval.
Aye. All right.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Next is discussion and action on the Alva High Summer Baseball Tournament, not to exceed $3,970.
Hi, I'm Scott Ball, I'm head baseball coach at Alva High School, and we have another summer tournament in June, and this year it will be the 21st through the 23rd. Have it at Crenshaw Field, at our high school field. This is, I think, the 4th time maybe that we've had this tournament. We're going to have approximately 8 to 10 teams. We're still working on trying to get teams to come in. We'll average 500-600 people a day in Alva that will go shopping, eat at our restaurants. And the total cost for our tournament is going to be around $6,500. That includes the cost of the umpires, the gatekeeper, the scorekeeper, what else got on here? The prizes, concession items, game baseballs, maintenance for the field. And what we were asking and what we had the last 2 years is no different than what we've done the last couple of years, is just to cover the cost of the umpires, the prizes, the scorekeeper and the gatekeeper. And, we'll just, if we do get rain and get rained out, then, obviously we won't ask for any money if the whole thing gets rained out. But you guys have helped us in the past, and we really appreciate, you guys helping us. I think a lot of people enjoy our facility, the work that everybody's put into it. And, I think it's helped us with having a tournament in the spring, and people like to come to Alva for those reasons. So I'll take any questions. I appreciate everything.
So is 8 the maximum number of teams you can hold?
Probably, yeah, probably. That's getting about, we're, schedule-wise, it's going to be limited probably to those 3 days. That's that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with our schedule and everything. So I don't know if we can get really any more than that.
So, and just looking at your financials here, if we give you this money, then you should make a profit, which is good. I like to see things events make some money, but what does the money go to?
Well, it helps our summer program is tied into our school ball program, and we raise approximately around $10,000 a year. We do fence signage. We have a donor board that we do. We do maybe a basketball dinner. We don't do, just tons of things. I don't really care about having $20,000 and $10,000 I'm not going to use all the time. I want us to be comfortable. I want our kids to have everything that we need to have to run our program, and we've always done that. But at the same time, I don't want to go out and just, have the kids raising money all the time for everything. But they do go out and help with some things. So it just, everything, summer ball and high school ball are all tied together money-wise. So it all comes out of the same account. So it just helps us get over the hump with this tournament, and it goes toward, next year's baseballs or helmets or whatever, catching gear or whatever we need, things that we need to buy for the program for the kids.
Last year you got 2920, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you indicated there that, you said no, that their request was no more than what it was then, but now you've got 39.7, so it's another 1,000 difference on your application.
Well, I think last year's, that's the same thing that we had was 39.70. I don't think we got all of our games in last year. I think we had some weather, if I remember right.
29.20 is what you got last year.
Right.
Because you didn't because of weather.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's what my question was.
Yes.
Versus $1,000 extra expense if that was.
Yeah. Right.
Then you have a second tournament in the spring?
I'm sorry?
Second tournament in the spring?
We have a high school tournament in the spring, and this past spring was the second year that we've had it. So we have a high school tournament, and then we have one in the summer. We have one for school ball, and then we have one in the summer. So we host 2 of them.
Well, it wasn't an error. They requested 39.70, but they only used 29.
See, 29, so the request is.
Okay,
The way it reads, we do think that was what was requested.
right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I just thought that $1,000 on that budget was a pretty high increase if that's.
Yeah, we just, like I said, I mean, we turn in to you guys how many games we do play, the umpires, what it does come out to be. And that's all we're wanting money for. So is that actual amount.
Make a motion to approve the full amount requested.
Second.
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles, Terry,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Norman.
All right, next is.
Thank you very much.
Discussion and action on the Alva Rotary 4th of July Spectacular.
Here once again. I've lost track how many times I've come to this committee. And it's to hear all of the previous requests and hear everyone learn, this is tourism dollars, you get overnight stays, all that stuff. Unfortunately, I'm kind of like the bad habit that the city has, because we have to have an event for our people, and it's an expensive event. If you don't have it, it's more that anti-tourism deal where you have people leave town because they go over to Woodward or someplace else. So this is basically our same budget from last year. Obviously, I'm more on the fireworks side of it. That's the more expensive side of that. We've done a lot over the years this committee has really helped out with making our fireworks show one of the best around. We have amazing equipment. We have branched out, found new suppliers, good product. Last year's show, I think sometimes people just tell us that maybe because we work so hard for it that it's the best show yet. Maybe it's just because it was the one that they remember. But it really felt like last year was probably one of the best ones that we'd ever had. We finally, after a decade of doing this or so, we've kind of figured it out. We add new little elements into it each year. I just got done with my training up in Medicine Lodge, or not Medicine Lodge, but Hutchinson, Kansas, Inman, Kansas. New product we're going to get again this year that we're expanding our show with. We'll be able to add new elements to it. In conjunction with Rotary, Megan Caldwell's here as the president of Rotary this year. We've made it a full-day event, which was one of our goals over the last few years. We have full days worth of activities. We basically have breakfast, lunch, supper, the swimming pool, which even with everything going on with the city swimming pool, that's a huge part of why we still have it at the park. The kids are there all day long, all the activities all day long. I could talk about it forever, but it's the same thing. We finally just got it down to what is a very good day full of activities. Unfortunately, I love to quote that there's 100 people that come in and stay the night, and I'm sure that's not the case. A lot of these people are day traveling in. Hopefully there are. If they're not eating all the meals out there with us that are free, they're at least coming in utilizing the other restaurants and convenience stores, etc. in town. But unfortunately, fireworks are an expensive world. We, as best as I can tell with the information I get from other people, we still get a little bit more than anybody else. So we're having a bigger show. We're getting the best bang for our buck around here. So our request is for $20,000 as it was last year. Our revenue is generated from sponsorships. We have it listed on there. There's donations of approximately $10,000 a year. That is our Sponsor a Rocket program. There have been years where it's $12,500. There's been years that it's $7,500. Our event, if it ends up in the black, it's in the black by about $500 or $1,000, and that's about it. And that's carried over into our event. It's always been managed that way so that we can cover a year when we have. Right now, our fireworks order is actually cost increase happened this year. I don't know, stuff going on with the Chinese, but we actually do have a little bit higher cost this year, about $1,500 or $2,000. I'm not blaming the president or anything, but I'm going to say that there has been a pretty remarkable increase in the fireworks cost this year with our desire to increase some stuff. So even though we're only asking for the same amount, I will actually tell you that the present invoice is about $15,000 on our fireworks order to be able to do what we want to do and have been able to do in the past. The rest of that we're actually asking for you to contribute to would be the meals. Those are just free, no donations. We don't set up anything or ask anything of anyone while they're there. We want everyone to just come enjoy the holiday. 4th of July is on the 3rd this year. I don't know what that means. It means that Saturdays are bad sometimes. Sundays are great because people are coming back. It just depends on how 4th of July when people travel. Some people go to the lake. A Thursday for day activities. A lot of people may not have to work on Friday the 5th, so hopefully we'll have a good captive crowd. They can go to our stuff on Thursday and then leave for a long weekend. That's how we've kind of always envision these midweek 4th of July. So I think we have great numbers. We give away good prizes, weather permitting and being nice. We actually have an alternate rain day. We would always try to do this on the Saturday if we had problems with stuff on Thursday. But that's our budget. I think it's basically the exact same that we did last year, but I'd entertain any other questions. Ask for your support, and thank you for what you've done in the past.
I do think having a good fireworks show for those people who return home for 4th of July, it brings more people back to Alva to return home for 4th of July. And we're going to go somewhere where there's a good fireworks show.
I wish we could track it. I really do. I wish there was a way, like if you came and proved that you drove so many miles, there was a $10 gas card you could give them or something that would generate some numbers that would go back through it. I've seen things like that. We just do tickets all day long for the prizes and the giveaway when the people come to our events. That at least makes them come to all the things to gather tickets and go from there. So those numbers would end up being a little bit off just because some of the same kid may go to, if you're in the fun run and you're at the bouncy toys and you go to lunch and you go to everything, you get an opportunity to have a couple tickets saved up so when your name's called, you might want a bicycle or a grill or whatever we've got going on. So
Do you change the prizes year to year?
we do. We just go buy different things. I mean, in general, we kind of have a budget that we have allocated for that, but you kind of remember what you did last year and try not to just exactly repeat that. That money's all spent here locally as well. We try to go to those businesses and acquire those things, so that kind of regenerates some of that. That's going in, and we're paying sales tax on it and all those other things. But we really can go and get a Traeger grill and make a really nice prize. Go get bicycles, things like that. So it's some of that prizes is also money giveaway, the kind of stuff they do from the sand pit that that's just buried money the kids find, and that's included in there. But the rest of the prizes that we just purchase locally to give away. Unfortunately, I see the least amount of that because that's all during the twilight hours, and I'm down sweating bullets on the other end trying to make sure everything's ready to go. But I hear the numbers called off, and I see people hauling up stuff. So it seems to work well, and that incentive keeps them there all day long. Otherwise, and that was always what our fear was, if you only did something in the morning and then you had this break, they'd leave and they wouldn't come back. We really just try to keep them trapped there all day long. And our park is very nice and accommodating from that standpoint because there is the pool, there are the bouncy toys, there are ways that the meals and all that stuff, people can really come. If it's just not 110 degrees, they can come spend the whole day and enjoy it. And so having one of the safer fireworks shows around and more exciting and all that stuff, it's really worked well. And it takes a lot to do it, but we enjoy doing it.
I think it's one of the biggest, best events that Alva has annually, and I can't imagine if we did pull money back. I mean, this is something that everybody looks forward to. It's a big deal. We all love it. It's just, I can't imagine it changing where just, all the people that discuss the 4th of July here in Alva, it's just, you guys always do a phenomenal job. So,
And that's probably the only reason why I know there are people from out of town coming, because people will come and tell you, well, we saw this in Wichita, or we saw this someplace else. And we kind of got lucky one time when we got rained out on the 4th. We did it on the car show weekend and had our big fireworks show. And those people that were here from Kansas, that's like, that's your 4th of July show. It's like, because they were surprised we could do that big an event for the car show. Well, then they realized, well, that's awesome. We would come and do that. So I think we've been able to advertise ourselves, and it's worked out well. We enjoy it. I can't imagine not having that. I mean, we've always had fireworks in the 4th since I've lived in Alva, so we just are it's just a very expensive habit, unfortunately, to be able to do it, and it's all gone in 25 minutes. So unless I punch the button faster, and sometimes it's 18 minutes. So it's just how it works.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Alva Rotary Club 4th of July Spectacular for $20,000.
We have a motion and a second to approve.
Terry,
Aye.
Charles, Juanita, Connor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Man, I thought we were leaving early, but I thought Brian flipped in the back door there.
I did.
All right, you're up, ma'am. Discussion and action on the 15th annual Alva Fire Department Mudslinger Shootout, not to exceed $4,000.
You know, this is a good event that's been for us. You know, we've done it. This will be our 15th consecutive year doing it. We kind of, if you're new to it, we started out at the rec park before we moved it out to the fairgrounds. We started correlating this event with the fair, the Woods County Fair. Then we elected last year to move dates. It was the recommendation from our mud run organization that we were too late in the year and that it would be a whole lot more beneficial to get more cars and more trucks and bigger trucks, because we could almost be one of the testing sites where everybody comes out and kind of starts testing their trucks before they get into their big point races out there. So we moved it to June. So last year we didn't come back to you because it was such a close turnaround. So our year 18 and year 17 were really close together. So we didn't come to tourism and ask, and we self-funded it. Last year we had a really good turnout that was out there, you know, with the Ranger baseball tournament in Nescatunga going on, the baseball. We had people that were coming over to see what was going on, and we actually had more people out there. We had more trucks than we've ever had out there, and you know, this has really been really good for the fire department, and it really helps us to fund those things for our volunteers, you know, that we're not capable of funding through city budget. You know, that's why we do these fundraisers, and you know, with your guys' support that you've given to us over the years, you know, we do really appreciate that. You know, we got down with the advertisement, you know, we would like to do, I know you guys have asked each year for us to do a 2-day event, and we've been talking with them on that. We just don't know if we have a big enough area to do that 2-day event for those 2 pits on it. You know, this is a 1-day event that we are doing for the Mudslinger Shootout on it. You know, so I mean, it's really been a good deal. I think, you know, people are coming in. We're right before the big mud run in Kansas, you know, that's Bunker Hill that's up there. So we're kind of a pass-through spot. So we are getting those people staying in the motels, staying here and eating. We're kind of co-advertising out there with the Nescatunga Arts Festival, you know, and we're doing it out at the baseball game, because there's a lot of things going on that weekend. You know, Alva's going to be busy on the 1st, definitely here. You know, we haven't really seen that decrease in numbers, you know, with all those events, but we're definitely would like to see them more. I mean, because it just helps us out that much more on it. So, you know, we're asking, you know, for $4,000, $3,000 to help us advertise it. You know, we've been talking with the radio stations, things like that, the newspapers, to get this event out on it. Portable restrooms always seems like a pretty big deal, because it's just the old VFW restrooms aren't capable of handling the people that we have out there. And then our sanction fee and insurance, $700. That sanction fee is to get this organization to continue to come to Alva, and they've been carrying the insurance before. We were having to find insurance and pay for it, and that's becoming a really hard thing to do, especially with a racing event, and meet their requirements to get insurance. And they're putting those both together, and that's a pretty good deal for us, because it is getting pretty tough to find that insurance out there for these racing events on it. So.
Well, I like to see money spent for advertisement. I think that's a good use of our funds. I was just for your information, I don't know how that organization has, if they've thought about this or not, but we're seeing a lot of, in the drag racing stuff, we were seeing a lot of deals where they are now going to it's a 2-day event, but it's just like 2 completely separate races, so the people only have to tow once because of the towing expense. So they run a complete race one day, the same day, the next day the same people run the same thing again. And they don't have to go home. They love it. They have huge turnouts at it because the guys can go tow once, run 2 races. One day and then the next day. They don't have any more cars, but they actually double the amount of, because they're the same people are running the next day. So.
And that may be something that we need to look into and talk to them about that. I mean, we talked to them about 2 different pits, being out there.
I mean, you still just need the same pit.
Same pit, yeah.
Same number of cars, they just ran twice, so yeah.
We may see if they do anything like that, or if they're interested in doing something like that.
That way people get to see their competition and see
Yeah.
what they need to tweak to maybe
What
win
you
it
got to do the next day, yeah,
Right.
Watch a lot
absolutely.
of car stuff at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I'm talking about that insurance. The first car right out of the gate last year rolled about 7 times at the end. So it's always nice to have that insurance. It's been very difficult for our local insurance companies to find those companies that would actually insure it. So they insure because they do multiple events across the state of Oklahoma, and so they buy that whole insurance premium that covers it. It seems to be working really well for us on that.
$700 for insurance is cheap.
So,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I don't know what you guys end up paying for yours for the car show, but you know,
10 times.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only can imagine.
So there's no other mudslinging events like this in the state that would be running a 2-day deal that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. I'll be more than happy to ask him, you know, and see if there's something that's similar to that. They, you know, the only one that's really close to us is on Easter weekend. Freedom Fire Department does theirs out there, their Buzzard Rally that they hold, and they do a 1-day event out there also. So, you know, that'll just be something I'll need to ask him to see if there's anything like that, a 2-day event that they run the same pit.
Did you get double the value for your advertising buck if you did
Right, yeah, for a 2-day event.
2-day event?
And we've had those
Hopefully that's
conversations, and he just, that there's a mud bogging pit that has big ramps in it, that's a totally different pit, and they looked at it out where we have our races at. There's a huge hole out there that has a water pipe that goes through it, and it's always full of water, and that's some of the things that we've talked with Benny about, to see if we could move and still have our distances and our barriers to do a couple of things like that, so.
Here it says last year that they came from south central Kansas, like northwestern Oklahoma. I mean, do you know of some other ones that came from farther away? Just right
Yeah, they come from this group that we're using now. They come around from the Tulsa area, northwest Oklahoma. We have a lot of mud trucks that are up in this area also too, and then south central Kansas. The KMRO group came down last year. That was a group that we had prior to finding this Oklahoma organization. It was a Kansas organization. We went with an Oklahoma organization on it, and they've done a really good job for us on it. So yeah, we're bringing them in. They're buying fuel here, you know, which is really good. They're staying in the motels, and then they're moving on to the big. It's a big 2-day event called Bunker Hill up in Kansas that they go to up there. But they have multiple courses and things that they run up there.
I remember we approved $4,000 for the
A motion to approve the $4,000 for the Mudslinger Shootout.
Second.
We have a second?
Second.
Juanita,
Aye.
Charles, Connor,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Norval.
All right.
Thank you guys for your
Thank you.
continued support.
Next is remarks and inquiries by the Tourism Tax Committee. Charles, any new news on the arena you want to send us out on?
Nothing more than what's in the paper.
Okay. Anybody else have anything?
It's been in the paper.
I haven't seen anything in the paper. Thank you.
The latest date. Hopefully breaking ground in the next 2 or 3 months. That's the deal.
Okay, sounds good.
I think it's kind of on the radar screen anyway.
All right, Joe, you write that in
Yeah.
there, and then hope Charles do that, yeah.
I thought this would happen a year ago.
It's a big, big project, and you guys are doing it right, and that's what counts, is that it be done right. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.